Very good evening to you. Welcome to Choice 2017. This evening we're focusing on Kajiado County. For those of you who live in Rongai and Kitengela, that is your county. And a lot of you have been sending in some of your concerns with respect to that county. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some facts about Kajiado County. Here on our super wall, the number of registered voters in Kajiado County stands at 304,346 registered voters. Of course, this number is bound to go up, especially focusing on the latest IEBC registration of voters all over the country. So that is 304. It could be a little bit higher than that, though. Let's move to the next board of the focus on Kajiado County. So that county, that is Kajiado County, has forget about this. Let's look at the constituencies. You have Kajiado North, Kajiado Central, Kajiado East, Kajiado West, and Kajiado South. So looking at these numbers, these are the numbers that are accumulating to that 304,000 registered voters. Let's look at the next board as well. The next board, please. There we go. The governor of Kajiado County is actually in studio with me. That's why I said, if you're watching this show, we will give you a chance to call in and give in your sentiments and probably rate the performance of the county government. So your governor is in studio with us today on Choice 2017, David Olenkedianye. He's the governor of Kajiado County. He got that seat using Orange Democratic Movement ticket. And of course, he's running Mate Paul Mpute Ntiati also on an ODM ticket, who are elected during the March 4th general election. Let's move to the next board. The Senate. Peter Corinne Komositet is the senator of Kajiado County. Got the ticket, got in using the TNA ticket. He was elected senator for Kajiado, receiving 56% of the votes. And this is why there's some political analysts who say you can't really tell which side Kajiado falls. Is it an ODM zone? Is it a Jubilee zone? We'll have a conversation about that in a few minutes. Do we have another board? Yes, there we go. Let's look at the next board, the National Assembly. Let's look at the representation. So you have Patrick Wadhigo Manje on TNA. You have ODM TNA. Let's look at the next board as well. So that is 2 TNAs, 1 ODM. Let's move at the next. Let's look at the next board. TNA. Look at the names and then look at the parties that they represent. And this is why, like I said, there are those who are not so sure where Kajiado lies. It's a cosmopolitan region, but then there are those who say it may be split 50-50 between CORD and Jubilee. Let's look at the next board. Let's look at the next board. There we go. 2013, the last general election. Let's take a look at how they voted. Then that will give you an idea of what may happen in 2017. So in 2013, 52% of residents of Kajiado County voted for President Uhuru Kenyatta, of course, of the Jubilee coalition. So that leaves, let's look at the next board. Then you can take a look at how they voted in 2013. 44% voted for Raila Odinga of CORD. So 44 versus Uhuru Kenyatta's, let me see if I can get that, 44 for Raila Odinga and 52 for Uhuru Kenyatta. That margin is very small. When you look at the factors that will determine who will get elected next general election 2017, that presidential race in terms of how Kajiado will vote is actually of concern, especially to political analysts who say this will be a very close run in 2017. Voting turnout, 87%. These are people who like voting. So if you're aspiring to vie for any seat in that region, you may as well need to pull up your socks. These are people, 87% got out to vote in 2013. So that leaves what? 13% stay home. So maybe this year they'll convince 100% to go and vote. So if you are aspiring for any particular seat in 2017, this is the reason why you need to really campaign and make sure that they vote you in. So before we get into the conversation, let's set the stage for this conversation and listen to some sentiments from some leaders in that region. And there are those who say, especially for the governor's seat, it's basically a two-horse race. That's the question we intend to answer. Is it a two-horse race? Let's set the stage.
I am aware of the anxiety there is because of the current underdevelopment in this county. The tension caused by apparent nepotism, tribalism, and clanism has made people of Kajiado County very anxious of who their next governor is. The coming in of Olelenku has definitely set the entire county into a spin.
Kuna wengine pia walienda walibahatisha walipata kazi mahali ingine, labda hamwajui sana. Najua walikuwa wanakaa Nairobi sana, nyinyi hamjui. Walikuwa wamepewa kazi na wakashindwa, na sasa wanasema twendeni huko Kajiado kwa sababu tulikuwa sisi tuko Nairobi na watu hawajajua kwamba tumeshindwa na kazi. Twendeni tuwadanganye.
Haya basi, two men who hope to be the governors in 2017. One of them is actually the current governor in the county of Kajiado. We have Kajiado governor in studio with us today, and here's the thing, I must applaud him. He's the first governor actually to agree to come and have a conversation about his county. The first governor to sit down with us and look at his scorecard as a governor. So Governor Kedianye, thank you so much for making time for Choice 2017. And I'm hoping at some point people will open our lines, then you will call and speak to your governor, raise your concerns. If you come from Kajiado County, I'm looking at Kitengela, I'm looking at the environs around it. If you're watching this show, this is your chance to speak directly to your governor. You may not, do they have access to you? In case I'm asking, do they have access to you? This is the only platform they have now to ask their questions.
No, they have access.
They have access to you.
Okay,
but we're making it easy. So if you have questions for your governor, you can call in. Our lines will be scrolling at the bottom end of your screen, and then you can be part of this conversation. And of course, we have Danstan Omari, who's a resident political analyst, a very familiar face on this show. Danstan, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome, and thanks a lot, KTN.
Bwana Governor, allow me to begin with you. So this is like I'm leaking an exam to you. If you're to rate yourself in terms of performance in your county, how would you rate your performance as a governor since 2013?
80%.
80%?
Yes.
Why would you give yourself 80%? What have you done? What have you done for your people?
I have done a lot of things. We found a county that was actually quite disorganized. Kajiado County is a large county. It's about the size of Israel or Rwanda.
Wow.
So the whole of Central Province plus Nairobi would just fit into Nairobi. I mean, fit into Kajiado. And you still leave some space.
Okay.
And we have a lot of challenges. We have a kind of dichotomy in terms of the rural versus the urban population. And we have done a lot of things. If you look at health, we have more than tripled the number of visitation of our health centers. We have done 71 now active and running dispensaries, including hospitals. And we have done 11 markets that were non-existent, from Namanga to Loitoktok to, you know, all the way to Kiserian and Matasia. We have done more than 50 boreholes in far-flung areas.
So basically you've done the best that you can for your people.
We have done, even in urban areas like Kitengela, where I know some people may complain.
Yeah, you have a lot of complaints. I'm actually going to read the few.
I know, and I know what the problems are, and we are looking into that. We are working on them. Given the challenges we've been going through in terms of the money we have and the disbursements and the people we are working with, I think we have done very well. Even in a place like Kitengela, we promised a bridge, we did it. We are working on
Does it make it difficult for you to be able to deliver for your people, putting in mind that you're looking at Rongai and Kitengela and they're right next to Nairobi, so they expect the services that they get in your county to be a replica of what is in Nairobi? Does it make it a little bit difficult?
Of course, our population is very demanding, especially in the urban areas, in the peri-urban area of Nairobi. Kitengela, Rongai, Ngong, those are peri-urban areas of Nairobi. And we have a lot of spillover effect. People move in and out of Nairobi into Kitengela.
Yeah, a lot of people go to Kitengela to eat what?
Yes, Nyama Choma.
Okay.
And Rongai and all that.
Yeah.
So actually the demand and the awareness of people, they would expect services as close as those being offered in Nairobi. But I think we have done well. We have tried. We have tried, given the circumstances we've gone
I'm going to read tweets because we posed that particular question on social media, and we asked residents from Kajiado County on how they would rate your performance. It will be very interesting. Then I'll bring Danstan into this conversation because there'll be a lot of issues that have been raised, especially on social media, on Twitter. So here's the thing. You can be part of this conversation as well. You can use the hashtag Choice2017, and then we'll sample some of your views as well. So, Joanne, when you're ready, we can put some of the tweets that came in. There we go. So, we asked, how would you rate the performance of the county government of Kajiado? Let's see. Waidhira Korea says the county government is a sham, Ngong Road to Kiserian Road is non-existent, Rongai is a mess, they have done nothing. Let's look at the next board as well. Edukantai says, we need to do away with the current county government of Kajiado, no roads, water, drainage in major towns. Next board, please. John Kilasho says, Nkedianye has really performed exemplary well. He deserves another chance, so at least one positive thing for you. Let's move on to the next board as well. Abel Khisa says, Jamiaronga inavunja familia. Bibi wanashuku, ukisema uko Banda, I think Banda school, but you take 4 hours to get home. Expand the roads. That issue of roads and traffic jam and the state of the roads has been the major contention, especially on social media with the people who have been part of this conversation. Bernard says, I live in Kajiado. On a scale of 1 to 47, that government is at 47, nothing to talk about. Next board, please. As we look at the performance, Dennis Yogo says, there's a lot of insecurity, bad roads, and more problems still facing Kajiado County, particularly Kitengela. Let's move on to the next board if we have another board. There we go. Joshua Molo says, nothing works like no drainage, painful traffic, no parking roads, too narrow. I don't know whether there are leaders here. Your governor is seated here, so probably he will address some of the concerns that you're raising. Let's move to the next board if we have one more, two more. Your sentiments on how you'd rate the performance of the county government of Kajiado. Bwana Governor, there are lots of concerns. The road, drainage system, traffic, what is happening in your county?
Yes. I think one thing that we need to put very clearly is that there are problems that are actually bigger than the county.
Like?
Like the road. If you talk about the road from Ngong to Kiserian, from Bomas to Rongai, that is not a county road. It's a national government road. And it has taken 50 years that way. I cannot change it. In fact, I don't have the money to do it. You know, it's a national government road.
Yeah.
So people are blaming the governor for everything. But some of these problems, we have tried to tell people that actually are national government roads. We have been hoping that we would be considered.
Have you tried to reach out to the national government?
Oh, yes. Recently, we've held a number of meetings in Rongai. We have tried even to ease the traffic. I have involved Kera and Kura and Kenha, the highway people, and some roads have been improved. We have looked at the traffic flow. We are working with Kera very closely.
They're talking about roads, they're talking about drainage, they're talking about security.
Yes, security is a national government function. We have talked about the insecurity in Kitengela. I have talked with Mheshimiwa Ngaiseri. I've talked to the county commander, and that is something that is being worked on. And this is work in progress, you know. So security cannot be blamed on me entirely. You know, it's a national government function. If you talk about drainage, Kiserian drainage works are going on, and that because doing a sewerage, you need about $1 billion. Kiserian is costing about 800 million. We need about $1 billion for Rongai and for Kitengela. So that's not something the county government can do. My development budget is about 1.4 billion, you know, every year. If I was to do a drainage, even one for Kitengela, it will cost more than 1 billion shillings.
Which you don't have.
I don't have that kind of money. I would have to take a loan. So these are some of the things that people, wananchi, need to know.
They need to know.
Yes.
Dunstan, you've been to Kitengela, you've been to Kajiado. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, for the first time, I'm getting a governor who is very honest.
Okay.
In the sense that I've just been engaging with him. There is really misinformation. National duties are seen to be part and parcel of the job description of county governments. The citizens need to identify, they look back at the schedules in the Constitution, what are specifically mandates of county governments and what are specifically mandates of the county government. For example, the issue of security, that is a national issue. The issue of tarmac roads, other than Governor Mutua, who has attempted to tarmac a 2-kilometer road, and he has not achieved really the issue of the amount involved in tarmacking of roads. County governments are not endowed with those resources to collect and do that. So I will be saying that the 47 governors have failed on one thing. They invested more on buying their vehicles instead of putting up a PR, a communication strategy, so that the public know exactly what is their job description, how much they're given. Governor said in 1 year, he gets development budget of around 1.2 billion. That can't even fit one sewerage plant and pipes at Kitengela. So if governor wants to do only sewages, he will do at most 3 sewages complete, and he'll not do any development the whole county. Then when you look at the governor, I sometimes sympathize with him. He comes from a totally 2 dichotomous regions. One, the very rural region. They might not be among the people who have sent text messages here.
On Twitter.
And the urban sub-Nairobi bedrooms in Kitengela, Rongai, and all over. He keeps a lot of us in his county.
Yeah, a lot
so
of people
their
actually
standards, they expect those facilities at Kileleshwa, those facilities at Runda, to be at those areas. Not forgetting that we have similar slums in Madare, we have similar slums in Uruma and all over. So the governor sits on a very dangerous position, and I've hinted to him that his survival as a governor is really miraculous, because his opponents, you've heard Olelenku say, the governor has done nothing. When you look at also the vote distribution, the majority of the voters in the urban sector of Kajiado are diaspora voters, and they are the majority. The votes in the rural Maasai community are fewer and quite sparse. And sometimes when the voting will be, they might be in Tanzania, they might be in Narok, they might be all over. So the governor's position, as it is now, is quite tricky. But for development purposes, I've been to Kajiado, the governor has done tremendously well, especially in those rural areas.
This is the first time you're actually saying a governor has done a good
I have
job.
gone to those rural areas of Kajiado, the other side, considering the area covered and the resources allocated. The governor has done tremendously well. Where he has failed is to raise revenue from within the county itself. Because Kajiado is quite endowed. We have quite a number of factories in those areas. We have quite a number of, a lot of resources. If governor insisted on collecting resources, remember Linda, there was a county council that was called Ole Kajiado. It was the richest before Narok came in to overtake them. So if governor puts in place systems to collect revenue from the county itself, it will propel, in addition to what the national government is giving him, he will be able to deliver. So I'm only challenging him that let him up the system to collect revenue.
Yeah, correct.
I need to correct that. Kajiado County is among 4 counties that were rewarded by the National Treasury for working very hard to raise revenue. When we came in, we were at 260 million shillings. We went to 430. Last year, we were at 805. And right now, we are almost at 700 towards 800. We have been doing very well. If you look at our graph, it has been going up. I know that is not all we can do. There's so much else we can do. But comparatively, we have done very well compared to others.
Compared to other countries.
The other thing is that even in urban areas, we have done quite well. If you go to Rongai, we have expanded that hospital. The former Saitoti small hospital now has a mortuary, it has a theater, it has a lot of drugs, it is now expanded. You know, if you go to Kitengela, the same, we have a theater now we didn't have. You know, if you go to Kitengela, you'll find a new public school that we have started. You'll find a bridge You know, people used to spend their nights in Kitengela town when it rained.
Okay.
But now, you know, all these things have improved.
So I'm going to ask you one final question before we take a break, Joanne. There's a bite that we had on performance, and we asked the resident of Kajiado how they would rate the performance of the governor. That would be nice if we could end with that. But, Bona Governor, 2017, you think you stand a chance of being re-elected as the governor?
Absolutely.
What are your chances?
70%.
70%.
Yes.
Joanne, do we have the bites of the residents of Kajiado just talking about how they would rate the performance of their county and indeed the county government and the governor? Let's listen into that.
Dam kubwa sana mahali pale kwa imegharimu county government 10 million mahali inaitwa Ildipilikwani, na hiyo ni kitu hatujawahi kuona sisi kwa maisha hiyo zote.
Wale watoto ambayo hawana wazazi siku hizi wanapata msaidizi kwa county.
Kibanda unakuta pale kwa soko, kibanda ni ya 4x4. Ile soko iko hapo, turnover yake ni 4,000. Huyo mtu anahitajika kulipa 12,000 per year. Ule mtu wako na handwear, turnover yake ni 1 million, anahitajika pia naye alipe license 12,000 per year. Niambie hapo hakuna mipango.
We can't say in Kitengela we have developments, because if you look to the roads, they are so bad, they are pathetic.
Kitengela venye saa iko ni more worse kuliko venye ilikuwa mbeleni. Watu wa soko, biashara sokoni, sasa hakuna biashara.
Wakati tulienda kule kama viongozi kadha wa kadha, tukauliza ni nini mbaya, akasema ati anatoa misaada na badala ipitishwe MCAs wake wanakuwa wapitishi mambo, ati juu ni wa Jubilee na yeye ni wa ODM.
Governor ambaye hako, mimi naona akiwa anafaa, mimi naona anastahili hata arudishiwe mara tena, kwa sababu utakuta ni ugenini katika ugatusi, tuko wageni. Kwa hivyo mahali pengine hajatimia, atakuja kutimia, tukumrudishia. Naona kama anafaa.
There are those who say the governor has done a very good job. There are those who say not a very good job. Okay, we need to take a break, but before we do, let me ask you something that someone on Twitter is asking. Mnyika Wachao asks on the explanation that you've just given on roads. He says, the traffic jam in Rongai is but annoying. But Bwana Governor, are all the roads in Kajiado under the national government?
No, they are not. And I have not said that all of them are under the national government. If you go to Rongai, for example, to be specific, we are doing the Rimpa Road just around so that we lessen the traffic. We are working on the Gataka Road together with the national government. Actually, we've been assisting one another to make sure that we divert traffic from the main road to other roads that go round. And with that has worked very well. So it's only that we don't have sufficient resources. But we have worked on a number of other roads, even in Rongai. If you go to Chapchap, if you go inside there, you know, the Kataka Road we are working on. If, you know, we have worked on quite a number of roads. And
you're doing the best that you can, in other words.
Yeah, and then just after the rains, I am not surprised that everybody is saying the roads are a deplorable condition.
Okay.
You know, we had more than normal rains, yeah? That was above average.
Okay.
And everybody was complaining. And you don't repair roads when the rains are on. Okay. It's only recently we've deployed our graders and our dozers to work on roads because the rains have just subsided.
You're watching Choice 2017. Thank you for staying with us. So we have Kajiado Governor here with us. And he says, you need to figure out some of the mandates of the county government, because there's some of the complaints that are coming up that really should be handled by the national government. So if you're from Kajiado County, I'd love to hear from you. Use the hashtag, especially on Twitter, Choice 2017. Our lines are open. We'll give you a chance to call in and ask all the questions that you have. But for now, let's take a break. Thank you for staying with Choice 2017 here on KTN News. Tonight, we're focusing on the county of Kajiado. So right next to me, on my immediate left, we have Kajiado Governor David Nkedianye. Of course, we were with him in the first part of this discussion. And we have Danstan Omari, political analyst, a very familiar face on this show. And we have now been joined by Moses Ole Sakuda, Member of Parliament, Kajiado North?
Kajiado West.
Kajiado West, okay.
Before it was Kajiado North.
So now it's Kajiado
then
West.
Then it split. Out of Kajiado North, we had Kajiado East, Kajiado West and Kajiado North.
Okay, so gentlemen, thank you so much for having this conversation with us. Mheshimiwa, allow me to bring you into this conversation. And you walked in and you're saying, you listened in to the governor saying he will give himself 80% in terms of performance. You don't think so, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I don't think so. Because number one, I've seen the presidential statistics that you people put out. In the 2013 election, President Uhuru Kenyatta had 52% of the vote.
Yes.
And Raila
had 44.
Had 44. Now, Raila having 44 and Uhuru having, 52, how can the governor say that he has 80%?
Maybe because of his performance as a governor. He's done well for his people.
Well, as Jubilee, we doubt his performance. For one, I want to say this. Governor Ngedienye is a very good governor. He's a good man. He has tried his best. But unfortunately, Kajiado County is a cosmopolitan county. A county that has got the 42 tribes of this country. Yes. I'm Maasai, so don't forget that. Now, the good thing about what he has done is that he has gone rural. He's done a few projects. Unfortunately, his lieutenants are letting him down. He means well, but the people around him, if you compare, I'm from Kajiado West, if you compare the projects that CDF have done in Kajiado West and the projects that the county have done, a very good example is Olonyonyuki Secondary School. So I have the statistics. Our contractors are doing much more better than the county contractors. Governor Ngedienye means well. He has reached out in a number of pockets. But very soon we'll be asking him, the 17 billion that so far he has received in 3 years, what has he done? Now, unfortunately, the image that is out there in the county is that the governor means well, but the people, the procurement, the people around him have let him down.
We've listened to a bite. There's actually someone from Kajiado County who gave a reason. I want to put it across to the governor. And he says, they asked you what the problem is. And he said, you're a governor who's surrounded by Jubilee MCAs, which makes it very difficult for you to perform your duties as a governor. Is that true?
No, let me say no.
Let him answer. I'll give you.
That is true. And I'm actually surprised that Mheshimiwa is saying, as Jubilee, we are not satisfied with the governors. We are not asking about Jubilee, we are asking about you. What is your assessment? Because we will come to parties. And it is a fact that actually I've been working in a very difficult environment. When you only have 2 MCAs out of 25, we've just been coming along week by week, day by day. It has been very difficult. Even if the president today did not have a majority in parliament, he would not run this country. I have made a lot of progress, given the circumstances surrounding my leadership. And that is a fact, and I'm sure Mheshimiwa would agree with that. Because I only have 2. And after the nominations, out of 41 MCAs, I have 3. And the rest 38 are from Jubilee. And there has been this antagonistic kind of way of looking at things. Everything is, let us make sure the governor does not succeed. And in spite of all that, in every town, in every ward, we have development projects. If you talk about the projects that have not been done well, it is not just about the county. Even the national government has projects that have not been done properly. And I can count. I'm just from Kajiado West. We have done things that have not been done since independence. We were at Olmaroroi. We have cleared hills, road. We have opened up roads that have not been opened since independence.
So
and that is much better than what CDS has done.
His efforts as a governor to ensure his developments are there in Kajiado County.
No, if you gave me to finish.
Please do.
What I was saying, I did not talk about MCAs. I talked about the governor's people. Those are the executive, the procurement officers, the waziris around him.
The people around him.
People around him.
Okay.
When we talk about the MCAs and all, that's a whole different ballgame. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, the numbers are in the towns. Kitengela, Ongatarongai, Ngong, Kiserian, Loitoktok.
Okay.
When it comes to voting, I know as a person from Kajiado West, we deserve development. But politically and strategically, where do you want the people to vote for you at the end of the day? And that's why you find Kiserian complaining about the garbage collection. That's why you find Ongatarongai complaining about the road and the jams, because they have not understood who is supposed to do what.
Okay.
And, you know, that's why you find Kitengela, they are complaining about the market, whereby who is supposed to actually be there. So what I'm saying is, Governor is a very good friend of mine. He has been to my home. He came for my graduation. He was a chief guest.
Okay.
During my graduation ceremony, just the other day. I mean, I've invited him to a number
So on a
of
personal
several.
note, you guys are friends?
At the end of the day, we are all friends,
Okay.
even our principles.
But that's beside the point.
Hold on, Dunstan. Let me pick Dunstan's mind.
Well, what we are seeing, Linda, is a question of does development result into being re-elected? Kajiado, I said, is a serious constituency, the way we dealt, county, the way we dealt with Kiambu. Governor Kadienye, the name is
Kadienye.
is the only governor of ODM in Rift Valley, the old Rift Valley, with so many counties. Is the only one with a running mate who is ODM. Two, if you look at the historical perspective, the governor retained power by virtue of the strong ODM presence that was brought in by Honorable Sakuda, the current CS, Kaiseri, who are very strong,
And the senator.
and the senator, who are very strong ODM members.
Okay.
They've since decamped from that. The last straw was when Olen Kaiseri moved out.
Yeah.
So the governor is left alone. The Jubilee MCAs is talking about, those are the machineries that make anybody to be re-elected. He has only 2 and 1 nominated. So the governor is an orphan in a territory that is heavily tilted towards Jubilee. And the question that the governor's office, as I agree with Honorable Sakuda is saying, is that the governor's people took development to the indigenous, the natives, the original Maasais, to the rural areas.
No.
That's according to my view, and we seem to be agreeing.
It's not factual.
The voting machine, the tyranny of numbers, is in towns. So if the diaspora is going to control over 70% of the voting,
About 60.
is there likelihood that a person from the diaspora is going to contest? If you remember, the governor got his seat on a technicality. The person who was supposed to contest and who had a very strong following from the diaspora was thrown out by the courts. Governor remained unchallenged. In 2017, and I've said it without missing my words, unless governor shifts to Jubilee, he has, remember, it is only the county that the president goes to eat meat.
Okay.
It is the only county that the deputy president is frequently there.
Okay.
So that tells you that Jubilee has a very strong intention to recapture that door-to-door.
Eating meat. Dunstan.
Really? Yeah, no, I mean, that is only, how does the president eat meat in a territory that is not under his part?
Every other week.
Yeah, let me say something
Unfortunately, the
about
State House just gives him rice,
Yes.
vegetables. So when they get a little,
I am not party to this conversation.
Linda,
Yeah.
trying to get to a conclusion that because the president goes to eat meat there, then therefore the governor will lose is a fallacy. The argument is not following logic. You know, when you say Sakuda decamped and the Mosite decamped and the CS decamped, The question you need to ask is, when they decamped, did they go with the voters? They did not. I can say that.
Valid.
I can say that the people who were voting, he was in CORD or in ODM because there were people to vote for him. And those people are still there. Yeah, there are still many people who will vote for a CORD candidate because they did not move with Honorable Ngaiseri, they did not move with Honorable Sakuda or Honorable Mositet. Yeah? So this is one of the counties where you see that dichotomy, even in terms of party strength. Yeah? And we are talking about almost 50-50. You know, 55 for 50 in terms of rural votes versus the urban votes. You know? Okay. And even in urban areas, don't talk about diaspora. That is simplistic. It is not diaspora. Even the people in urban areas have CORD and have Jubilee orientations. So we are not just saying that everybody in an urban area is Jubilee.
Now that you're talking about election 2017 and who is likely to take over from you, if at all there will be, let's listen into some of the aspirants, people, men who hope to unseat you in 2017 and listen to the reasons why they think they should be voted in and why they think they will actually get in 2017.
Nilipoamua kusimama kiti cha gavana, kuna watu kwa Facebook waliandika Kinyanjui, enda sijui ukasimame Kiambu, wewe sio hapa.
Naomba watu wote wakati tutakaa chini na tuseme na tupate nomination, wote tufuatane, wale watashida na wale watashidwa, na wote tutembee safari moja.
Okay, so the men who hope to be the next governor of Kajiado County in 2017. I understand you have a call from Elizabeth in Ngong. Elizabeth, can you hear me? Elizabeth?
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for calling. What's your question, your concern?
I want to speak to my governor.
Please.
I am a resident of Ngong. I have listened with concern as he says that the tarmac roads belong to the national government. The inroads don't belong to the national government. My concern is the road. The inroads are impassable. Number two, I don't know whether the governor is aware that the public toilets in Ngong have been closed for the last 6 months.
Okay. Elizabeth, we hear you. The governor is here. He'll respond to your concerns. Just before we wind this show. But then just before Elizabeth called, we had a listen into what some of the aspirants hope will happen in 2017, their chances of being elected in 2017. Mheshimiwa, allow me to start with you. Which direction do you think 2017 is going to take in terms of the gubernatorial seat and the Senate? And I know you've said it's basically a Jubilee region. How do you think this will play out in 2017?
Well, let me say the good thing with Jubilee, it's a double-edged sword. We have always believed in democracy. Opening up nominations at the moment, and I can speak for Jubilee, we don't have a preferred candidate.
Okay.
We have about 4 candidates that have expressed their willingness to be governors in Kajiado County. Number 1 is my friend Solomon Kinyanjui. We have the former chairman of county council, who is now the chairman for Kenya Meat Commission, Tarayo Lekoris, who actually was knocked out on the technicality that he alluded to because of not having a degree, or, the paperwork, the right academic paperwork. We have the former CS, Olilenku, who have also expressed interest. We also have that gentleman called, I think is Livondo, who has also expressed interest. So at the moment, and remember we are still a bit ahead. One day in politics it means a lot. And then we are also open to Mheshimiwa Ngedienye, Governor Ngedienye, if he's willing to.
Can you stop lobbying on my show? All right, we have Peter from Kitale on the line. Hold on, Mheshimiwa.
As far as Jubilee, we don't have, at the moment, a preferred candidate. Okay. We asked them, all of them, to go out, look for the votes, and as time goes by around August, September, we will be clearer on who the the governor, candidate.
Your candidate would be.
So at the moment, they are all out there. And of course, unfortunately, they are all claiming to be there, the preferred candidate, unfortunately, which happens in politics. So as far as...
All right, okay, hold on. We have Peter from Kitale. Peter?
Peter, how are you?
Fine, sir. How are you?
Very fine.
Your comment, your question?
My question, I'm not asking a question, by the way.
You have a comment.
What I'm commenting, this governor is a very good person. He's a very good person. And what I think, it is about the party.
Okay.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, Peter, I can hear you.
What I'm saying, this governor should take the party.
Okay, Peter. All right, Peter, we hear you. We hear you. He's here. Are you?
We hear him. we hear him, actually.
Okay, would you consider changing parties? They say your party alliance, allegiance will bring
I think, Linda, that is beside the point. It's beside the point for now. I'm glad that Honorable Sakuda thinks that it would be a good idea for me to go where they are.
Yeah.
That is first and foremost because he thinks I'm a good governor. Irrespective of the kind of challenges he said that I have people around me. You have heard even at national level, you have heard when people want to criticize the president, they say the people around him are bad. I hope you're not falling prey to that kind of argument.
All right.
Don't say that I have bad people. This is a new government. It is starting. We have worked hard.
And you've given it your best.
And I've given it my best.
Okay, hold on. We have less than a minute to wind up. Danson, I'll let you have the final word. In 20 seconds.
My final word is that the president is totally in control of that region. In terms of elections, he will beat any competitor because the issues that were there of the Ma community with Jubilee has been sorted out. So the president is assured of getting almost 80% of the vote of Kajiado County.
Okay.
2, the governor has got to make a decision, and a strategic decision, to either join the winning party or he stands to be counted as one of the losers, as a few of the losers will be losing in 2017.
Okay, allow me to end it on that note, gentlemen.
That is very biased.
Bwana Governor, I really would like to give you a chance to defend yourself, but I really have to wind you up.
Did he come here to campaign for the president?
Joanne, can I give a second for final comments?
For a final
All right, no, we can't. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
But the good thing, Jubilee is winning 2017.
All right, people, thank you for watching.
And the governor will be a Jubilee governor.
Thank you for watching Choice 2017.
These are two people
of course,
who came
on
here
my immediate left is Kajiado Governor David Kedianye, and we have Danstan Umari, regular on the show, and we also have Moses Olesakuda. Gentlemen, thank you for your time, people. Thank you for watching Choice 2017. Have a good night. I'm Linda Mogutu.